All right, this is going to be the first video in my series Duelist for Dummies. And this video is going to be a little bit different one because it's going to be broken up into three parts. But the first part that we're going to start on is picking a main. All right, I think this is the most important part of being a duelist is picking a main, finding a character you're most comfortable with, and with that, we're gonna go into the three type of characters that there are in the game. All right. So in duelist, primarily there are three types of characters. You have melee characters, you have projectile characters, and you have hit scan characters. Melee characters, characters like Iron Fist, Magic, Daredevil. They're characters that don't have ranged attacks, right? So they depend a lot on closing a distance. They depend a lot on engagement timing and engagement windows. Engagement timing and engagement windows. That is a melee character. The second archetype in this game that you will have is projectile characters. Projectile characters like Moon Knight, Bucky, Namor, they throw a projectile and it has a travel time. For Moon Knight, it's his moon blades. For Bucky, it's his pistol. For Namor, it's his spear. There are different types of projectiles in this game. So Namor's projectile almost functions as a hit scan because it's a fast-moving projectile, but it's still a projectile. Then you have hit scan. Hit scans are characters that basically wherever your reticle is, it'll be instantaneous impact wherever your reticle is. That's what hit scan means. Wherever your character is looking, that's where the projectile goes and it has no travel speed. So see how I look at the bot and it immediately sparks them with Phoenix, right? This is hit scan, right? Amongst the three, for beginners and casuals, the easiest one to play realistically is hit scan. And it's because hit scan, like, you don't really have to learn anything but aim, right? You have to learn positioning on hit scan too, but most of the time for hit scan is just aiming, right? If your raw mechanical skill is good, hit scan is kind of where a lot of people tend to go to or tend to lean when they're starting the game. Melee characters like Magic, Iron Fist, Daredevil, other characters that you have to Mr. Fantastic, Black Panther, characters that you have to close the distance on, their whole playstyle is dependent upon positioning and timing, right? Because you're not gonna, Phoenix, from right here, I can hit that bot with Phoenix, right? I can hit this bot with Phoenix, I can hit this bot with Phoenix. But for Magic, right, if they're shooting down main and say those bots are my teammate and I need to get over there, I have to find a way to path better, one, to get there without taking damage, and two, time my engagement window so I can get in, do a lot of damage, and get out, right? That's why characters that are melee characters usually get some type of overshield from either brawling, deflecting, or fighting so that they give you the opportunity to get out. And then projectile characters like Iron Man. Oh, where's Winter Soldier? Where's that man at? Oh, he's over here. Like Iron Man, Winter Soldier, and Hawkeye.
Unspeakable things.
They depend on.
I hope it's not too late to set them right.
They depend on.
Got one.
You leading their shots, right? So projectiles work in the way, like if you were trying to shoot something, you have to lead your shot. So those bots are stationary, but say this bot right here. Sometimes with projectiles, you have to lead your shot a little bit in front of them, depending on how fast the projectile travels. Like I was saying, Namor's projectile travels really fast, so you don't really have to do that. But with other characters with slower projectile speed, like Hawkeye, you kind of want to, well, you don't kind of want to, you want to lead your shots, otherwise you'll miss. Well, now that we talked about the three types of characters and I gave you like a basic runaround of what they do, how do you pick a main? I think this is the most talked about thing that professional players miss, content creators miss. Don't pick your main based off of meta, right? Because you might play the meta, but if you don't like playing the character, it doesn't matter, right? Don't pick your main based off people's impact or views of your main, right? Pick your main. I think the first thing that you should do is pick your main and have fun, right? Have fun. Pick a main that you're gonna have fun with, right? 2, try to pick a main that fits your natural playstyle. If you come from high-paced shooters like COD, Apex, like Hitscan's probably the character for you, right? If you come from fighting games, you probably like melee characters, right? If you're like a hybrid or this is your first hero shooter, projectile characters might be fun for you, right? But mostly people tend to lean into melee and hit scan, right? With picking your main, I think that one of the most important things about picking a main, which people don't talk about either, is pick your main based on how you're gonna play the game, right? So I'm a solo queue player. So most of the characters that I main in this game have self-sustain or some type of form of escape because I know that every time I'm not gonna be able to get healed by my teammates. But that's not the case for everybody. A lot of people have friends they play with. A lot of people play with play with people. So that should also be in your repertoire of how you're gonna pick your main. If you play with people and you know that you can trust the people you're playing with, or you're having fun trusting the people you play with, you might want to pick heroes that have specific team ups. Like if one of your friends is a Strange main, right? You might want to play Magic or Scarlet because they give Strange gives them a team up, right? Same thing with Moon Knight. All these heroes have team ups. So if you're playing in a team, try to pick teams based around, pick a character based around your team's comp so that you guys can abuse team ups, because in low elo team ups really win you games. Like Hello to More shit is like S tier in low elo because nobody shoots the squids, and then it dog piles, and then you lose the game. The second thing that I want to talk about when it comes to picking a main is consistency. So last season, the season before this season, right? Season 7, I was like highly into this character right here, Daredevil. I wanted to learn how to play him. I wanted to lord him. I was putting a lot of hours in him. Everybody was saying he was good for solo queue, and I'll give you my experience on the character in solo queue in another video. But a lot of people were saying this character is good in solo queue, like you could solo carry or whatever, and I just wanted to learn the character for real. I thought the character was based. I thought the character was really good. I was like, damn, this dude is actually broken. Like, I want to fucking play this dude, right? And then this season, right, I didn't really play him as much. I haven't played him as much since this season. I've been kind of like leaning on hit scan characters. And one of the biggest issues that I had when I swapped from melee to hit scan was my aim was trash. And it's because on melee-based characters, right, the way you play the game and see the game is different than on hit scan, right? So when I was playing Daredevil, the whole thing that I was doing was I was hiding out, right? And I was trying to take isolated fights. And I was pretty much trying to min-max his combos. So I was focusing on comboing, right? And it's not really aim intensive, right? It's more like cooldown intensive, like learning when I have my deflect up, learning how to grapple in and out, learning that my grapple is my escape card. I even changed my paddle on my DualSense Edge to play this guy a little bit better. So a lot of like the muscle memory that I have with this character is gone, because on Daredevil, when I used to play with the paddles on Daredevil for his profile, my latch was my back paddle with jump. On hit scan, my latch is ability and jump. So going back to that specifically when I had switched was like a huge learning curve for me. I was like, dude, I am going to die a lot and I'm just gonna have to get over it. So I was like, dude, it is gonna be what it is. I'm gonna die a lot. And now in this season, right, I've been playing a lot of Phoenix, but I'm trying to learn how to play Iron Fist as well, because I want to lord him next. And one of the things that I am absolutely struggling with on Iron Fist is positioning, 1, and 2, learning when to engage and disengage, because the whole time I've been fucking playing hit scan. And like, what I'm saying is, if you're gonna build a hero squad, right, a strike squad, or heroes that you're gonna play, if you're gonna split between projectile and hit scan, that it's not gonna be as harsh as if you're splitting between hit scan or projectile and melee. And the reason is, melee characters in this game usually, right, take the longest to understand how to make them work, if that makes sense. Like, they take the longest to understand because they have a whole bunch of timing, they have a whole bunch of movement abilities, they have a whole bunch of engage and disengage tools, and like, they basically all depend on timing, game sense, and how effective you're gonna be, right, once you get into a spot where you can play the character, you know the windows to engage, you know the windows to disengage. Hit scan, it's all about playing off angles. Literally, hit scan is all about playing off angles, right? So when I'm playing like Phoenix or Psylocke or Star-Lord or sometimes Punisher or Hela, all I'm focusing on is what angle I can take to do the most damage to the other team and get eliminations. I'm focused on target prioritization, but I'm not really focused on engage and disengage, right? Because when I'm on Phoenix and say I'm blasting down from an angle like this and I get pressured, I just fly away, right? Right. Dash away, right? And then I'm back in the fight. I'm in the middle of my team, right? I don't really like have to wait for my team to initiate a fight. And for a lot of brawl characters like Daredevil, Black Cat, Iron Fist, Magic, well, not really Magic, because Magic you could frontline brawl, Wolverine you could frontline brawl, but a lot of like melee characters, you kind of waiting for your teammates to initiate, like, the encounter. That's one of the biggest differences of playing hit scan and projectile versus playing melee. Because in hit scan and projectile, like, you're just pretty much looking for off angles, or you're trying to maximize your positioning where you can do the most damage. And for melee, it's like timing. You're literally waiting for timing. So you're waiting for an interaction to occur before you jump into it. And I think that is the biggest challenge that a lot of people face when they pick mains in this game or they build the hero pool. And the easiest way that I can tell you to get around it is go to the practice range and warm up. If you're playing if you're gonna main hit scan and main projectile, go to the practice range and warm up. There is no reason why you should be averaging 30% accuracy. Go to the practice range, warm up, find some settings that you like, right? Make sure the settings work when you're standing still. Make sure the settings work when you're strafing, because there's different ways that you can encounter people on hit scan. For melee, it's the same but different. You're gonna go to the range, but with melee, all you're gonna practice is your movement, the eternal clock in your head. So like, hey, I have like 15 seconds to probably get an elim. Let me go in, boom, 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 boom. I'm not gonna stay longer than 15 seconds. Say you wanna set a little eternal clock at 15 seconds, you should be disengaging. You wanna practice cycling your cooldowns, right? And then you wanna just practice pathing on melee characters in the range. So whenever I play Iron Fist in the range, I literally just run around the range. And I practice like different ways to take, like if I'm gonna practice on this bot over there or these bots down here, I practice different ways to engage with these bots and how to disengage. I practice different combos, so see I got him up out of there. So now I'm gonna get out. Then I practice healing, because this is what I always wanted to do. I always want to heal before I go into an engagement, and I practice resetting. If this isn't good enough for you, right, you could go in a quick match and practice too. You can go into versus AI, you can go 18 versus 18, and just practice like engagement timings, right? Just practice waiting for your team to engage, and then you fighting, right? I do not recommend that you play rank and practice characters that you've never played before. One, because it's kind of like a dick move, because people in there are trying to win, you're throwing. To try to practice a character that you could practice in any other game mode.
Wow, 4 in a row.
You were always.
But again, that's it. That's the third video of Duelist for Dummies, or first video of Duelist for Dummies. It's called Picking Your Main. Thank you for the support. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.